8 a.m. I couldn't fall asleep again. Been overthinking all the little things I've said. I'm sleep deprived almost every night, and I wish that I wouldn't think instead.
Good morning, my friends. Welcome to my 6 a.m. morning routine. I'm gonna spare you all the sound of my alarm because that thing is traumatizing. Alright, so even though I do consider myself a morning person, mornings are still pretty freaking hard. My brain kind of likes to do this thing when I wake up where I think about all the things that I have to do in the day and it stresses me out and it makes it kind of hard to get out of bed. But something that's been helping me deal with this stress is reaching for a book instead of my phone when I wake up. Now, don't get me wrong, I love getting sucked into the whole of watching Instagram cat videos, but I do need something that will slow and calm my mind down a little bit, and that's been reading. Alright, so now it's time to actually pull myself together and get ready for the day. This is usually after 15 to 30 minutes of reading. Generally do enjoy making my bed every morning. I think that having a nice clean bed to jump into after a long day is so satisfying, and I think my mom would be pretty proud of me. I remember being in middle school and absolutely loving watching Bethany Mota's morning routines. It was actually my first introduction to things like having a skincare routine and the concept of building consistency for myself, especially in the mornings. And while it is nice to be able to lean into my routines, I also believe in having flexibility in my mornings. I still sleep in when I know I haven't gotten 8 to 9 hours of rest. I don't always reach for my book when I'm in a rush to go somewhere. But the really cool thing about routine is that you can always come back to it. Thankfully, no matter how many times I manage to let my morning routines down, it always ends up being there for me, and I really appreciate that. Alright, now it's time to go make a cup of tea. I am a sucker for a good cup of hot tea in the morning. I don't care if it's 100 degrees outside, there's just something about a warm cup that is so comforting. And I've never been too much of a breakfast girl, but on occasions where I do eat breakfast, I'm definitely more of a savory girl. Chow or porridge is my go-to. My Viet people know what I'm talking about. At this point in my life, I have taken a break from working full-time to apply to graduate school. And in college, I would generally work out in the mornings before my classes, so this is a habit that kind of stuck with me even into adulthood. I am working with a climbing coach right now, so I am fortunate enough to have a schedule of the type of exercises or training that I'll be doing in a day. And this morning, my focus was on mobility, but on most days, I will be at my local climbing gym.
Cause we met too young. We the same damn soul. Told you I would never fall in love with no hoe. Hate it was a hickey that didn't let you know. I've been in the streets fucking around with hoes.
I thought it was important to be able to share with you all some different things that I do every morning because honestly, one video is just not enough to capture what my week looks like, and I don't want to give you all the idea that this is exactly how my routine is every single day. Something that I really love about climbing is how it challenges me both physically and mentally. And in each climb that I work on, which is called a problem, I always take a moment to visualize what it looks like in my head before I hop on and try it. So honestly, 99.9% of the time, the way that I think it's gonna go and the way that it actually goes never actually works out, but I guess that's just part of the fun, right? Most of my sessions do involve a lot of trying and failing, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Before I started climbing, I lifted and did HIIT workouts, which were also really fun. And it's honestly so amazing how diverse exercise and movement can be. Sometimes I do wish my body would recover faster because there are just so many sports that I would love to be able to try, but I think that climbing is doing a pretty good job at keeping me happy.
I wanna turn my phone off, but that's where all my
Alright, if you haven't listened to Ava Jewel's podcast, On My Mind, What Are You Doing With Yourself? This is by far my favorite podcast that I listen to. I noticed that Ava basically never uses any filler words, and as someone who can get a bit ticked off when the podcaster I'm listening to uses like and in between every word, I think Ava does a fantastic job at keeping us engaged. And I get it. I know it's so hypocritical of me because I am someone who uses filler words also. It is just my personal preference when people in podcasts cut out or minimize their filler words. Anyway, sorry for the tangent, but one of Ava's podcasts talks about how uplifting it can be to take a bit of time in the morning to put effort in your appearance. And as someone who loves to get dolled up, this is something I resonate with, but it's definitely not a requirement. It's just nice to know that I carved out 20 minutes in the morning to, invest in myself, fill up my cup, and that's more than enough reasons to do it. Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you all, I was a little bit hesitant to create a morning routine video because I've definitely been sucked into thinking that if I wasn't following some influencer's aesthetic routine, I'm not disciplined enough or hardworking enough. I've definitely experimented with different things that I can do in the morning, like reading, journaling, yoga, meditating, but this is just something that I built for myself because it's what works for me and my lifestyle. I think it's important to be able to find what works for you, even if it's not part of someone else's morning routine or it doesn't sound that productive. It's your morning routine and it's what works for you. I do wish that I could go back in time and tell my middle school self who is watching all of these morning routine videos that these videos serve as a resource rather than a model of perfection. It's just something that you can pull ideas from, but it definitely doesn't have to be how you live. I have never been a work from home kind of girl. No, I'm a go to the coffee shop and accidentally make awkward eye contact with a stranger because I was losing focus on my task type of girl. Going to my local bookstore / coffee shop has been a core part of my morning routine just because my apartment doesn't get too much natural light and I just prefer to be in a setting where, there are people around, there's lots of light filling up the space. I feel like I just get more work done this way. On this day, after I finished my study session, I thought it would be good to pick up some vegan pizza for myself at Whole Foods. And since this is a lunch break type of thing, I also watched on this day, after I finished my study session, I thought it would be good to pick up. After I spend my mornings working on my grad school apps, I usually spend the rest of my day editing my videos. So today I was doing voiceovers. And as you can tell from my very expressive hand movements, I'm very passionate when I'm doing my voiceovers. I feel like the idea of a morning routine gives off the vibe that this is something that you're consistently doing every day, all the time. And I do think that's true to an extent because things that are a core part of your morning routine, like drinking a cup of tea or making your bed, like those are things that you can absolutely do every day. But just from experience, that's not quite how life works all the time. Days where I'm not editing my videos or going home to get lunch, I'll be at the gym for my second training session. Or if I feel like I have a little bit more to work on for my apps, I'll go get lunch at a nearby place, chill for a little bit, and then come back to that coffee shop. Regardless of whether you start your day at 5 a.m. or 2 p.m., I think that we all have systems that really work for us. For me, grounding myself in my routines has been really helpful in managing the stress that I experience throughout the day. If you all do have some part of your morning routine that you feel is really necessary and good for you, I would love it if you shared it in the chat box below so we could share ideas on how to build morning routines that work for us and our lifestyles. Thank you all for spending the morning with me. Wherever you are, I hope that you're having a beautiful day, and I'm gonna run now and finish up my cup of tea. Okay, bye-bye.
When I fall back down